It's Thursday the 21st of January 2016 and I'm at Takeley to do a section of Harcamlow Way, and here is the footpath of Harcamlow Way that leaves Takeley from the main road. The view further along the path. Now crossing the route of the old Bishop's Stortford to Braintree Railway, which is now a footpath known as Fitch Way. Harcamlow Way goes straight ahead through that gap. After crossing the Fitch Way, Harcamlow Way heads up this field beside this hedge, and it's quite murky and frosty and cold today, but at least it's not very foggy. View over to my right from the footpath in the last clip, and there's the path still beside the hedge. In the next field, good views ahead and to the right. The path passes a lake on the left, and we're still following a hedge. The path cuts through a narrow band of woodland. Harcamlow Way now bears right after the narrow band of woodland to follow the edge of the woodland to the stile ahead. After the stile in the last clip, Harcamlow Way goes diagonally left across this field. We now come to this road where Harcamlow Way turns right, heading towards Hatfield Forest now. At this road junction, Harcamlow Way continues ahead over that stile towards Hatfield Forest. Now entering the woodland of Hatfield Forest. The route bears left along this track. Harcamlow Way comes to this large lake in Hatfield Forest and proceeds along that path. Harcamlow Way now heads along this concrete track. The concrete track turns right, but Harcamlow Way continues ahead across this field along this grassy trod. We now turn left along this wide track. At this T-junction, the route bears right. We bear left through a gate and go down this track, and then turn left along this path. Now following the edge of another lake. At the end of the lake, Harcamlow Way bears right along this path. Now heading along a narrow path. After going along a track through some buildings, we go along this path here. Now following this hedge on the right. The path now heads across this stile and plank bridge to the corner of a wood on the other side of a field. Harcamlow Way now heading across this field to the corner of the wood ahead. The path continues with the wood on the right. At the end of the wood, the path bears right, and you can see that we're on the Three Forests Way as well as Harcamlow Way. After the signpost of the Three Forests Way in the last clip, the path is narrow and heads across this scrubby field. Now heading along beside this fence. Harcamlow Way now comes to this road at Woodside Green. We proceed ahead across the green, which is apparently owned by the National Trust. Still heading across the large Woodside Green. Now continuing with the wood on the left. Still on Harcamlow Way. The path converges into this muddy bridleway. We now come to a gate, and this is part of the Forest Way, which is another long distance path. It's distinct from the Three Forests Way. The Forest Way runs between Epping Forest and Hatfield Forest. And our route continues along the right hand edge of that field. We're still on Harcamlow Way. Don't get confused by all these long distance paths in this area. At this point the Forest Way turns left across the field over there, but Harcamlow Way and Three Forests Way continue straight ahead. At the end of the field in the last clip, Harcamlow Way turns right along this path between hedges. At the end of the hedge path, the route bears left and then goes along the edge of this field with the line of trees on the right, down there. The walk heads across this footbridge. We're heading towards the M11 motorway, which is a roar in the distance. Heading towards the M11 motorway along Harcamlow Way. You can see it in the distance to the right. At the end of the field, the route crosses a footbridge to the other side of the hedge and then continues ahead. At this point, the path bears to the right. Some skittish horses in a field which is actually on my right, and the walk goes over this stile beside that gate. The path ends at this road where we turn right to go under the M11. A few yards after going under the M11, we turn left up this bridleway, sign there. And just to confirm, the bridleway is part of the Three Forests Way. That's the way ahead. Now walking uphill beside the motorway fence. Now following this hedge, bearing away from the motorway. The path goes into a dip, rises to here, and then turns left along that grassy trod, following a stream. Still following the stream on the left, quite pleasant views ahead. You can still hear the M11. The path turns right along the edge of this strip of woodland. The path now turns left across this field to the road ahead. This is at the end of the strip of woodland on the right that you saw in the last clip. Now at the road, I'm about to leave the route of Harcamlow Way, which turns left off the road down that footpath towards Harlow, and I've already done that section. There's a video already posted of that. I'm now going to walk along the road to Sawbridgeworth railway station. Now at Sawbridgeworth station and the end of today's walk along Harcamlow Way.